Hey, Guru, run that shit. Good. Welcome to another episode of Cash Corner. Your host, Steve Cash Moneybags, aka the Fitness Zaddy, aka the Young Vampire. Believe all the stories they tell about your boy around the campfire. And we are back with a very special guest to me, and you are, ma'am?
Rome. Business Rome.
Very
You're
nice.
known as the Fitness Daddy?
Zaddy. You got to put a Z on it.
Fitness Zaddy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's why I gave that look. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Rome, this has been a minute. We've been trying to do this for I would like to say a couple years, to be honest. Am I over exaggerating by saying a couple years?
I mean, I feel like we visited the conversation, but I'm all about things happening organically at the right time and when it was supposed to. And I think this is a good time because had it happened a couple years ago,
I agree.
It would have been a different conversation.
How you been?
Good.
Anything new going on for you?
Oh man, everything is new. Like my whole life is just changing so quickly.
Such as what, you got kids on the way?
Nah.
What's changing? What's changing rapidly?
I think that I was trying to have kids last year. That didn't happen. That didn't work out. That's a whole nother conversation. But
how you go about that? Did you you went through a donor route? How did you try to have?
I was trying to have children naturally. And it just wasn't sticking. It just wasn't sticking. After 4 times of not sticking, I was like, you know what?
No, I feel you.
I'm gonna let it rock, and that's where my business came from after that. So like, fuck this.
And fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, fuck them kids. No, see, because I only got one, right? And love my boy to death, but I'm like, damn, like he's aged out. He's grown. He's a grown man. He's not a baby anymore. You know, my boy about to be 19. So I'm like, damn.
What?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Teen parent. Salute to me. I was reckless with my penis as a youngin'. You know what I mean? I got it under control now. You know what I mean? I figured out how it worked, and I didn't do that again. One time, and it was over.
But look at you now.
Freedom
again.
Exactly. But the thing is, I kind of sometimes here and there I get a little baby fever.
Do it.
But you know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to Google how to have a baby, but without a woman.
Ooh, why don't you want a woman?
Because I can just have my kid on my own. I can just raise him.
You're right. You're capable of being a single father.
You know what I'm saying?
But my question is,
what's the question?
Why do you want to have a child without a woman?
Because I don't need any extra input. Like whatever, just my morals and my input, and I can raise him. I can raise my little warrior on my own. I can raise like a little MMA fighter if I want. I can raise a little firefighter if I want. I can raise what if I want him to be, I don't know, anything, a scientist or something, and only direct him to that. Based
on the way you answered this question, I'm convinced that you need therapy.
Are you a therapist?
I can be sometimes.
I could definitely utilize your services. I've been told I have had therapy before. I recommend people do therapy.
I think a really good woman is probably the man. I feel like good women are like, geez, like the shit. And I feel like amazing men are the shit too.
Wait, what, a good woman meaning? What you mean, like as far as a therapist goes? Like
no, I'm talking about in terms of a partner, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you find the right partner, right, and then on top of that you lock her in with the baby, it's like that sounds like a fantastic experience. But the fact that you're like interested in a child but not without a woman, I think definitely highlights your view and the way you feel about exploring the possibility of having a relationship with a woman, which highlights the need for a therapist. But that's a whole nother conversation.
No, and I actually like that. I actually do want a therapy episode, and maybe this will tie into it. Yeah. To be honest, you might be onto something.
I think I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff. I think even therapists need therapists too. But again, that's why I'm a consultant. That one little bubble.
We need to get into me. And why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way?
It's trauma and past experience.
I thought about freezing some of my eggs. Mm-hmm. You know,
I don't think you need to.
No, don't freeze none of my eggs.
When I was in my early 20s, I was just telling someone this the other day. Oh, should I save this for later? Actually, I'll just mention it right now. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were joking about dating because I don't know why young men have an affinity for me. Ever since my divorce, I've been attracting nothing but younger men.
What do you consider younger men? Just curious.
Men younger than me.
Okay, because I thought you was like 22, 23. I always thought you were, but...
Come on, bro.
That's what I thought, you know what I mean?
Stop.
I'm sorry.
So I'm 36.
No way.
But I attract younger men generally, but sometimes very young men, like very young, like you be doing the math, like why sis? Like, come on.
Do you consider it?
I've done it. I'm actually involved with someone that's...
Yeah, twirl that cup. Go ahead.
I want to say the age difference is like 12 years.
Okay. How's that going so far?
It's good for what it is right now, but I think for where I'm trying to go long term, it's not what either of us need right now. But amazing person, and the time we've spent together has been fantastic. So,
do you feel like a cougar?
I don't feel like a cougar because I don't pursue the relationships. They pursue me. You know what I mean?
And you just couldn't turn it down.
I mean...
He made your offer, you couldn't refuse.
He's a fantastic human being. Like, how could I not?
Understood.
How did we get
here? you took us there. You
no. Your sperms.
Yeah, I need to freeze them.
So, yes, we could talk about that, but I didn't want to lose this because I want to make sure that I'm giving you good information because you're thinking about babies.
Okay.
So...
And by the way, I'm always on the fence about it. Sometimes it sounds good, then sometimes it's like, well, I got freedom. I do what I want.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Please do. You're on the corner.
So when I was like 24, I was dating a 55-year-old.
Oh, salute to him. Is he a cougar?
I would say he was
what are men that are older? What do they call them? Silver foxes or something?
Was it rocking the cradle?
Robbing the cradle.
I think it's rocking or robbing. I think both of them.
Yeah.
I think it's or cat daddies.
I don't know. Is that a new one? I never heard.
I think. Well, we talking about old school lingo. And keep in mind, I'm 36. We used to call them cat daddies back in the day. You know? I think they were called cat daddies.
How was that? Like he was. That's a lot older. Like how
he was very. He was in good shape.
Was he controlling?
He wasn't controlling, but our relationship was a little gray area. It was a little weird.
Were you spoiled? Did he spoil you?
Yes, he did.
Because he thought you was his granddaughter.
Probably. But he spoiled me in weird ways. Like the taste level was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like he would buy me a pair of boots.
Yeah.
Or he would buy me a purse. And I'd be like, yeah, I would never rock this shit. And I would just have to be like, oh, that was nice, you know? But I didn't have those expectations. I was really cool just hanging out, but he really enjoyed buying me things. And I don't know, it felt weird. But anyway, the point is he did get me pregnant. So.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know I was pregnant. So I was playing tennis one day. I was like, on the court. And then the next day I was like, oh, whoops. I had a miscarriage.
Oh, no, that's sorry to hear that.
It happens.
I mean,
it happens, but I'm just saying the point is that the sperm and the egg, they did its thing. I hear about older men getting women pregnant all the time. In fact, I have someone in my family.
Baby would have been born with a receded hairline.
I mean, we see it happen. We see it. I mean, we see it.
That's what happened when you. And I hear older men give you worms. What happened? He gave you worms. He gave you worms.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, but it was fun. I will say, sometimes I wondered if he used the little blue pill. But the point is...
Anything wrong with the blue pill?
Nothing's wrong with it, but the point is that once you take the blue pill, I think you be like on go for a really long time, and it may not be compatible with a woman's natural libido. It might be a little too much. But
for the man.
I think the man's like when he takes the little blue pill... Was it like he'd be on go for like 4 hours or something like that?
I've always wanted to pop
What woman's trying to do that?
I never did.
Try it.
Because I just want to see what it's like. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you don't need it, just be careful.
But people, they use enhancement drugs all the time.
I mean, I'm not here to advise on that because I've never done it. But I would say go to YouTube University first or something like that.
I feel you.
But the point I'm making is like I would say if you're interested in having kids, take your time with the decision, maybe do some housekeeping and figure out what's going on inside that you're against doing it with a partner because raising a kid by yourself is not an easy job.
I did it. It was cool.
It doesn't mean was it easy?
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
I was going to say operative word easy. It's not an easy job.
No, it's definitely not an easy thing at all. And I say that very jokingly about not having a partner because honestly, I'm a type person. I prefer a family unit. That's the truth. I do prefer a family unit, but like I was saying, I do teeter with children because on one hand, I did my job. You're never really done, but I got him to adulthood, and I have a lot less worry. I'm not changing diapers. So do I want to get back into that realm? Do I want to change diapers again? Be woke in the middle of the night? No, it don't sound so fun, but also it's a part of the game. you have one.
I keep thinking about all the 50-year-old men that I know have gotten women pregnant. Like, I know multiple, actually.
Yeah, after they change their diaper, after they change the kid diaper, they got to go change their own.
50 is still young, bro.
I know that. I'm bullshitting.
And you know we're close to 50, so you're fine.
I'm almost there.
Nah.
I'm 47, man.
Nah.
Come on. A vampire. I don't age. I age very well.
All right, buddy.
No, I'm kidding. I'm 37. I think I do okay though. I tell you what. Yesterday, my son had an event, right? Because he's a dancer. If you don't know, he's a hip hop dancer.
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, and people couldn't believe like I was his dad. Like they was like.
I was watching the videos like, wait a minute, Steve's got a kid, and that's his kid.
Yeah.
And then I thought that. I'm like, oh, maybe he just looks older. And then now you're telling me he's 19. Like, it's all coming together.
Almost 19.
You know that meme with the math equations? Like, that's happening to me. Like,
so
right now.
So I always wanted to. I didn't want to look like I didn't want to be an old dad. You feel me? I wanted to more so. When he did become of age, like young adulthood, I always wanted to look like an older brother versus like his dad. I didn't want to be like super old and washed. So I was, well, mission accomplished, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, enjoy it. Both my parents are relatively young. My mother was 16 when she had me. My dad was in his early 20s, maybe like 20 or 21. And between my parents and my brother and I, we all feel like it's this sibling unit, and it's pretty cool. And it's almost easy to forget that.
Are you where are you, the middle, oldest?
I'm the oldest. So it's weird because like I was at church with my mom earlier today, and there were some children sitting in front of us, an older girl, and then the brother was younger. She was like, oh my God, I'm getting flashbacks. And then I'm like, oh yeah, like it kind of clicked. Like there was a time where we were little like that, and
Absolutely.
You were our mom. But it's like we're so like sibling oriented, almost like our parents call us for advice all the time because
that's dope.
Our journey's a little different and unique from things they've experienced, and they're still young enough that if they want to start businesses, and with both myself and my brother being entrepreneurs, they call us all the time for ideas, and it's a very interesting dynamic to be young and have kids. So,
and being you the oldest, you probably more so like a born leader then, I guess. Do you think that has, because you did in the beginning, you did refer to yourself as business room. So I kind of was curious, and also by you being the oldest, you think possibly that's maybe what maybe led you into being a business consultant? Because that is what you do, right?
I think that I've always been a leader. Like, this is going to sound weird, but I have this very strange memory from when I was in the first grade. From my teacher. I wish she was still alive because I want to thank her so much sometimes. But her name was Miss Shaner, and we went to a very interesting school back in Buffalo, New York, Hamlin Park 74, represent.
Oh, you still remember? Yeah, okay.
Nah, but it was one of those schools that was like, you ever seen Lean On Me?
Absolutely. Joe Clark.
The Coolio joint, or like any movie that has a really bad high school with metal detectors. Yeah, I went there.
That was one of them.
So Miss Shaner was like an elderly white lady working in one of those schools.
Let me find out you used to carry a blade to school, Rome.
I mean, it's when they say cut the pocket in your mouth. I mean, campfire story. We can talk about it. But the point is that I used to get picked on a lot because I was a nerd. So I think the business stuff roots more from me just being this natural born nerd person that liked to learn and retain information. I used to get picked on and bullied a lot, and I didn't have a lot of friends. And one day she came up to me and she was like, you know what? You're a natural born leader. And I remember, I don't want to get emotional. She said to me, I said, what does that mean? And she was like, like Dr. Martin Luther King, he's a natural born leader.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, it kind of.
It's okay.
It didn't stick with me throughout my life, but it's like now that I'm older, I'm like, and when I see other kids, and I'm like, okay.
Do you use that as motivation into your business consulting? Because I do have a question. Like I have a couple of them. Like for example, business consulting. Like what exactly is that?
So for me as a business consultant, I basically give people advice, or I help them build and develop strategies that'll get them moving towards their goals. Everyone's goals are a little different. Some people have more intensive goals than others. So when I first started this business, I really thought it was going to be like oh my God, I want to start a restaurant. I don't know where to start. Or, oh my God, I want to do this. I don't know what to do. And I would be just teaching people how to get an EIN number or file for LLCs. But once...
What's that number? What is that?
Because EIN is basically an employment identification number. So it's it's basically like a social security number for your business.
Okay, that makes sense.
And, I just thought that I would be helping people on the administrative side on just following the proper steps and getting up and running. But once I put it out there, I started giving advice. The requests I started getting from people that really know the things that I've done and the types of jobs I've worked throughout my career started hitting my line. And they're like, yo, I forgot you're really good with numbers. I forgot you're really good with business. I forgot. Can you please help me with this? And then I'd be like, okay, yes, I can. I know how to do these things. I know how to write standard operating procedures. I know how to do promotional planning. I know how to.
Because you seem well, like you're multi-talented in this. So like, what maybe got you into that in the first place?
So I was pregnant last year, and I think it was my second pregnancy. I was like really hopeful that it was going to go full term, and I was like, you know what? These daycares, they're crazy. This COVID stuff is crazy. I really need to figure out a job that I can work from home so I can raise my child and not have to put them in a daycare.
Right.
And then I was like, what am I really good at? And I'm like, oh, people always come to me for business advice, and I'm pretty knowledgeable. I've worked in finance throughout my career, probably the past 18, 19, 20 years.
Right.
So I've been exposed to a lot of different things, and I have a lot of knowledge in different areas. And I was like, maybe I should try becoming a business consultant. And then I just started looking into it online, and I'm like, yo, this person is a fucking moron, and they're running a business. If they can do it, I can do it too. And then I lost that pregnancy, and I got really down in the dumps. Obviously, it's natural. And then I was like, you know what? I have to find something new to focus my energy on, something that I can nurture and build for myself to kind of keep my mind focused on something else. Because I'm a firm believer that an idle mind is a devil's playground. So I was like, you know what? That business consulting idea, even though I was doing it to try to raise my child at home, I still think that it's a good idea.
I think so as well.
And something that I could do good at. And I'm like, why don't I give it a try? On October 3rd, I put out my first reel on Instagram. And ever since then, I've been booked and busy.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's like really good. Salute and congratulations.
Thank you. My first 2 clients, I was so afraid to charge them. Yeah. It was $100 per job.
What advice would you have to other people coming up that are afraid to charge their clients? Like, what would you, why were you afraid to charge them?
Because it's like, I'm brand new to this. I'm like, I don't have a website yet. I don't have testimonials. I really don't know how to, it's a subjective type of work. So it's like, how do I assign a dollar value to what I'm doing? And then I don't really have a portfolio of things that I've done. So I started super low, and then I ended up hiring a business consultant. I saw what he was charging me, and I was like, okay. And then
did you feel he was charging you correctly for what you were receiving?
Absolutely, especially because of how well he's known in the industry and the type of clients he's had. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar clients.
Nice.
Very
nice.
If I listed some of the names, and it's in the hip hop industry, like, you'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. So
so you charged what you was worth. Get your worth, bro.
I charged $100 for the first 2 clients. My third invoice was for $1,000. And negotiating that took me maybe like 5 minutes. At first they were like, oh, $1,000. And then after like some strategies and talking, I was like, all right, tell me a little bit about what's bothering you about the price. And they couldn't really articulate. I was like, is it a budget situation? Is it that you don't feel like I'm going to bring enough value? Like, let's talk through it. And then they were like, you know what? I'm tripping. I came to you and I asked you for help, and we really need the help. And they sent me the Cash App like that. $1,000 third client.
And how their business do?
It's doing really well.
See?
And it was an existing business that generates at least $20,000 a month in e-commerce sales.
Nice.
In addition to a brick and mortar.
How do you go about getting? I mean, you know much about LLCs and things of that nature, right? Like, how do you go about getting an LLC?
So basically, we live in Florida, so I feel like the filing process here is a little more lenient than in other states. But you basically need to find your Secretary of the State website, or if you can find a resource locally. That'll direct you to your Secretary of the State. That's where you'll want to start for an LLC. But I think the more important question is whether or not an LLC is required for the type of business venture.
Oh, it's not always required. See, that's good. I had no idea. I thought you honestly always needed an LLC for whatever business it was, and that's not the case.
No, so actually a few opportunities that presented themselves to me recently, and I don't necessarily want to do it personally. I want to keep it all under a business umbrella. And in the state of Florida, you can operate as a sole proprietor without a LLC, without a DBA. And actually, if you go to the bank, you can open a business bank account. And a lot of banks, if your business name starts with your last name, they'll open it. So if, let's say I want to open a flower shop right now. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Right, yeah.
Roman's Flower Shop right now. Yeah. I'm a flower shop owner, guys.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So I walk into the bank.
I like the name.
I go to the bank. I'm like, I need a business account. They're like, oh yeah, do you have your business documents? I'm like, it's a sole proprietorship. And they're like,
so what, I want to use that word when I go.
Sole proprietorship.
Sole proprietor?
And then sole proprietorship.
All right, cool.
And then they're like, do you have a DBA? And I'm like, no, because I'm going to call it Roman's Flower Shop. And they'll be like, oh, I think you need a DBA. And I'm like, check your resources.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back and they'll be like, actually, you can. And I could use either my social or I can get a free EIN with Roman's Flower Shop without filing for a DBA in the state of Florida.
Well, that's dope. That's good advice.
Yep. Or if I don't want to call it Roman's Flower Shop, let's say I want to call it Bomb Ass Flowers.
But now it sounds like your name's no longer in it. So now you're going to have to...
So now I pay $50 on sunbiz.org, which is the Secretary of the State filing website in Florida. And I just buy that name. Like, I registered that DBA name, and I could use that in conjunction with the EIN or with my social and still open a business bank account without opening an LLC.
I see. Would you suggest maybe then it's almost, I guess, in a sense, it's smarter to, when you go to open up a business, if you can have your name in there, to just do that? Then maybe you could bypass some of the...
It depends on financial circumstances. Like,
yeah, I guess some people don't mind the extra. Yeah,
I don't mind paying for the LLC because I think an LLC is like $175, and it's a business-related expense. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. But the thing is that when I used to work as a banker, sometimes I would see people that were homeless, literally living in a shelter, and they're like, you know what, I want to start selling and making candles and selling them to my church, and they're literally starting a business to get off their feet. So it may be more cost effective, and it may actually make better tax sense for them to start off as a DBA and as a sole proprietor, and then as things ramp up, if after like reviewing the finances for the first year, it makes sense like for year 2 to then go into LLC, and now you can use the business finances to fuel all that, then that might be a better strategy. So it all depends on everyone's tax situation, their income tax situation, whether it's a partnership or a single member LLC. You really, and that's why a consultant is good, because they'll kind of ask you questions.
Walk you through and guide you through.
Yeah, because I want to ask you questions about your current situation and then develop a strategy that's going to benefit you, because something that may work for you may not work for me. Like you have a kid, I don't. We get different tax breaks.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it really depends.
You good with taxes too and all that? All that rules?
I mean, I've been doing my own taxes for almost 20 years. So I know a little something, but
man, I should have hollered at you.
I'm not an accountant or a tax professional.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the...
That's a disclaimer. I'm not an accountant or tax professional. I always give people very strong advice, and I always stress to them, and I'm like, I do not advise you do this. I advise you do that, but I am not an accountant or tax professional, so please double check this with an accountant or tax professional. Makes sense.
How are you at taking advice? Because you seem to, if you're the one that's always giving it, how do you receive? I know you had a consultant yourself. We talked about previously, but how do you receive information? Are you okay? Can you follow?
Yeah, I think I do pretty well. In fact, like when I was younger, I was horrible. But now that I'm older, I'm good at taking advice. You didn't realize you was a natural born leader like Martin Luther King, like your teacher told you. No, but here's the thing about consult, right? Yeah. I have a mentor who's part of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and he has been my mentor since I was 24 and since I was hard-headed. And one of the things in a book that you wrote, Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold.
What's the name of that book?
Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold by Greg Reed and Sharon Letcher.
Okay.
Oh man, that is a fantastic story.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting book.
But I'm saying, in addition to the book, I want to tell you a story.
Yeah, I'm here. Let's hear the story.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a story. But first, in that book, it talks about like how important it is to seek consult, because it's like it'll save you time and money. Because like sometimes you'll end up accumulating expenses, like mistakes can be expensive. That's the bottom line.
There are some expensive mistakes.
And as I'm getting older,
salute to my son.
And my health situation,
I'm kidding, it wasn't a mistake.
I just caught that. Time value of money is of the essence to me. So with me hiring a consultant, it was really like, yo, I got a lot of questions and I don't got time to trial and error it with YouTube University right now. I want to talk to someone who does this day in, day out, someone who's an expert at this, someone who's successful. And I'm going to go into that consult like, these are my goals, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Yo, show me the plays.
Okay.
Now, that's the problem. Sometimes people will hire a consultant and they'll be like, yeah, you know, man, I'm thinking about being
instead of letting you do your job. You think people hire, so obviously you've been through situations people have, or maybe you've even seen people, they'll hire a consultant and yet they won't let them consult. They just they want you to pretty much yes man their ideas.
Well, I can't even say that because I feel like part of being a good consultant is asking the right questions, and usually open-ended questions that'll allow the person to talk through it, because a lot of times as human beings, we don't have a clear understanding of what it is that we actually want. Sometimes we have an idea, but we're not completely married to it, or we're not confident enough to commit to it.
Right.
So they come to me with just the idea, and I'm like, all right, you want to open a bookstore. Have you talked to anyone who owns a bookstore? Right. When was the last time you've been to a library? When was the last time you read a book? Man, I don't know. I just saw this thing on YouTube and I'm like, all right. Because I'm trying to...
University.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like where to jump in and nurture and help them in their situation.
It's like double dutch. You got to make sure your
I got to make sure
right.
I'm jumping in at the right spot. So sometimes I'll turn away clients and I'm like, listen, there's a lot of free resources at your fingertips. I want you to look in. I'll give them like 3 tasks. Look into this, this, and this. If you decide this is still what you want to do, let's get together and I'll help you build a strategy. But if someone hasn't even done the ground level work to explore the business idea, then it's like me pocketing their money. I just kind of feels predatory.
You ever had to tell someone like they aren't good, or their idea is bad, or whatever the case is?
I haven't had to tell anyone that their idea is bad. And I don't believe in ever doing that.
Okay.
I believe in assessing how serious the person is about their idea.
Okay.
But I do turn away business sometimes, because sometimes people try to hire me or hit me up acting like they want a business consultant, but they're really trying to gain access to me. They're not really.
Oh, like they try to hit on you.
That's the long-term goal. So sometimes people act like they want a business consultant until I send them the invoice. You feel me?
Then what happens after that? Because I'll be like, it sounds laughable, honestly. It's like, okay, we were trying to work. A lot. Then they try to spin it? They try to be like, what? They try to ask you on a date or something like that?
Sometimes they'll be like, I'd like to take you to dinner sometimes. Or sometimes.
Do they try to mask it in, we're going to talk business over the dinner?
Yeah. Sometimes it's people that have already hired me, and after they've paid me, then they'll make a proposition.
Have you ever went on one of these dinners? Or is that bad to say? Or you don't want to say?
I don't mind. I haven't dated... Hold on, let me be honest.
Yeah, we didn't come here to lie on the corner.
I don't have any clients that I've ever had any type of romantic involvement with. You know what I mean? I do business with people that I may have dated before, but...
But nothing new.
But nothing like I'm currently charging anyone and I'm like, oh yeah, oh, you're a client and I'm going to convert you to something else like that. I feel like that would be bad business. But in terms of telling people they're bad, I'm a firm believer in not telling people that, because of JJ Fish.
Oh, I JJ Fish.
You remember him?
Of course. Yeah.
Was he bad?
He's entertaining.
Have you seen the streams?
There you go.
You think he getting money?
Yes, he is.
So does talent really matter?
Yeah, I guess in this case it wouldn't.
You get what I'm saying? So my thing is that I'm always very careful not to assign my taste level to someone's dreams and someone's passions, because if they're legitimately passionate and they're action takers, like, they can still get the bag. The thing is that you have talented people out here that aren't driven and they're not passionate, so that nothing happens. And then you have people who are completely trash and they out here getting the bag. So it's like a part of that bag could be my bag if I would have took the business on. So it's like, it's really about assessing whether or not a person's serious, and that's how I decide if I'm going to take on a client or not.
That makes sense. Since you are business oriented, I'm just curious. And we did touch on it a little bit earlier. Is marriage a business to you?
Excuse me?
Is marriage a business to you?
I feel like if marriage operated more like a business, a good business with good employees, I think businesses would be more successful. I think that not just marriage, I think relationships in general, you should always be assessing whether or not people are assets or liabilities.
Could you marry someone if it made sense for business and make it work on, like y'all are maybe the most compatible, but it makes so much sense business wise? Y'all could be like a power couple. No, you wouldn't.
I can't, because like
you got to marry for love.
Not even love, but like the chemistry got to be on point, right? Because like, chemistry will carry you through some fucked up shit. If you have the right, like the physical chemistry or like there's some sort of like intellectual chemistry. So even if you're going through a bad time, just as a human being, you can't deny that kinetic, attraction you have to a person. So I feel like chemistry is key. But in terms of assets and liabilities, I'm all about assets, liabilities, and even if you're not a full-on liability, are you a distraction? Liabilities and distractions.
Well, what if that partner isn't? He's not a liability. He's not a distraction. Y'all just may not be the absolute best y'all have, but a lot of chemistry. It just overall is not what you want.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. You ever been married?
I have.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did. You mentioned that earlier.
I have.
Are you open to being married again?
Absolutely. I want to get married again. I actually just made that. I've been playing with the idea, but I'm 110% confident that I want to get married again, and that's kind of what I'm trying to adjust to now.
If you had a share partner, would you still get married? If you had to share that?
I've thought about it.
You thought about it on the male's end or on your end as well? Or both?
On the male's end. There was someone that was recently interested in me, like on a very serious note, and he does believe in polyamory.
That's the one when the female has more than one.
Well, polyamory just means you have multiple partners multiple love partners and interests and stuff knowingly, because most people are in polyamorous relationships and don't even realize it.
That's a fact.
Non-consenting.
That's a fact.
That's a whole nother podcast. But have I thought about it? Not thought about it because I had interest, but because I have been propositioned a couple times by men who want those types of relationships, or who are already in one of those relationships but want to add someone to the situation, and it's not for me. It just goes against my morals and values.
Have you ever but you thought about it and like maybe entertained the thought of it?
I threw it around and then I threw it back.
Yeah. so overall you never attempted it?
I haven't attempted it with the other person, but I still entertain the person, knowing that one day they may try to introduce that. But then I'm like, I just had to be honest with myself and be like, yeah, this would never work. I
don't think I could personally do it. I don't think I would ever take it serious. Like if I did ever agree to something like that, let's say, all right, we'll even use it with the more uncommon one. Let's say the woman has multiple men, and I'm aware that this woman has another guy, or maybe even two other guys, and I'm like 2 or 3 on the lineup. You know what I mean? I don't know if I could really take out for one. I know for a fact I could never take that serious.
I don't know if you've heard of Passion Jones. My love, Passion Jones.
That's that woman. What she has like I want to overexaggerate. Okay, so it's 2 husbands.
Yeah, she's an influencer, and I love her. Like we've been in touch.
Yeah.
So.
What, you trying to pick up tips?
No. I've just followed her journey for a long time, and then she started following my stuff, and we've clicked up, and if she's happy and it works for her household, I think that's fantastic. I think love is beautiful.
I agree to that one. Whatever works for your household. It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, but it's not for me.
That's not going to work for my household though.
I know another woman in my. Excuse me.
No, you're fine.
Making me choke. Just thinking about it. Hold on.
Now go do your thing. I was talking until you're ready. But in reverse, on the opposite side, of course, it's typical. I'm a man. Of course, like, yeah, sure, bring multiple women. It sounds great and all that. But in the same breath, honestly, it's not always the funnest time dealing with multiple women. it can become a headache.
A job, especially like for me, I don't want to say I'm demanding, but I'm a woman that requires a lot. But as a woman that requires a lot, I also bring a lot to the table. So it's a double-edged sword in a good way. So it's like I can't imagine a man having to deal with satisfying me and then also having to worry about someone else. Because what's going to happen is, if he's trying to meet the satisfaction of another woman, then I'm going to be left short and nah.
Well, could you maybe think of it this way? Because everyone is different and I'm sure, you're not the same as other women. What if he's meeting all your requirements?
Impossible.
What if he's meeting most of your requirements?
Okay.
Because we're not going to act like this young boy, this 20-something-year-old man ain't knocking the bottom. Anyway.
He's done a good job.
Okay.
He's done a good job. Our journey was wonderful.
Okay. Well, whatever you need, you want some cranberry? You want another drink or something? You good?
I'm good.
All right, cool. All right. So whatever your requirements are, let's say and just assume those are being met. Another woman may not have though as high as qualities that she requires to be met. So in a sense, just because yours are high, hers may be here. So yours could be hit. Your requirements could be
part of the squad.
So she can't be part of the squad.
No, we nothing but elite over here, maybe.
Okay, fine. What if her requirements are just a little bit higher than yours, and you have an elite partner to where he can't? Matter of fact, in reverse, what if you're the one that requires less, so he can? He's meeting the requirements for girl B, because you're girl A, because no one's ever facts. I agree with you. So
I don't know about anyone else, but I'm always
you player one.
A.
You're a player one ass person. You was always Mario, huh?
Hell yeah.
No one. You was never Luigi. You fought over that.
I was always Sonic, never Tails.
Oh, yeah. But Tails was nice.
Tails was nice, but still,
Sonic was a star of the show. Like, okay, I get it.
Who was in the front?
It was Sonic.
Like this.
It was Sonic, and then Knuckles kind of came.
And then Super Sonic.
Later. But what happened? Knuckles did kind of.
Yo, Knuckles was crazy. Yeah, I just realized.
You a gamer?
I used to be. I used to be a big gamer. I mean, once the RPG stuff started coming into the fold, that's when I was like, all right, y'all can have that. The furthest I got on RPG was Tomb Raider.
Okay, yeah. I never even fully beat that game, by the way.
After that, and I was doing stupid shit on Tomb Raider, like locking Alfred in the freezer.
Yeah, and a lot of swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. Take me back to Crash Bandicoot.
That's my game.
Yo, that game was good.
How's your musical ear?
It's pretty good. Because
you are an artist, or I consider you an artist. You still consider yourself an artist. I think I still consider you that because I don't think people really leave it alone. Like once you kind of in it, you're there.
Yeah, I think that I just recently decided to just acknowledge myself as a musician, just generally speaking, because I love the art of rap, and I do have other musical talents as well. And I feel like even if I'm not in love with the music business, it's not like, it's kind of like Dr. Dre said, like, what you think? I don't rap no more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
can you sing?
A little. I could hold some notes.
You hold a note, but you're not. You.
I can hold a few notes. No, I can hold a few notes.
Yeah.
I just come from a musical family, so it's just natural.
So you're better. You would say that you're a better rapper than.
As a rapper, I'm murdering myself.
You're definitely not. You're definitely not. Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying you're a trash rapper. You're definitely not a trash rapper. I was even earlier before, like off camera, when you was playing a snippet of something you did. I was very impressed. But honestly, that's not the first time I've been impressed by your lyrical ability. You're actually really good. And I wanted to ask you. You're welcome. I want to ask you, like, do you write everything on your own?
I do.
Have you ever wrote for someone else?
I have.
How's that work out for you?
It's worked out pretty well. I had a couple of opportunities last year, or maybe a little over a year ago, to write some songs with a partner of mine for the show P Valley. We didn't move forward with those songs, but it was interesting because I had to write the song like as a from the stripper perspective, because they were like, we want something Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, WAP.
Okay.
They were like, we want the WAP. Okay. And I was like, okay.
Wings and pizza?
Yeah, wings and pizza.
Yeah.
And the song that I wrote, we didn't move forward with it for the show, but the producer of that song wants to release it.
Are you not giving your okay to this?
I want to sell the song to another female artist because the things that I wrote, I just feel like I could never get on camera and like say the things that I was saying in that song. So
are you embarrassed, or like it's just not? Why don't you think you could do it?
Because it's so provocative. It's it just, oh man, it's out there. I feel like the song, I feel like it's that same jaw-dropping vibe of like that same impact WAP made.
Okay. Well, how about this?
Very explicit.
Because you don't want it just to go to the wayside, right? I mean, you eventually you should, if you're not going to be able to get it in the hands of whatever right person that you see.
He doesn't want to sell it.
So either way,
he wants me to perform it.
Oh, he wants you.
It's an ongoing conversation. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it.
What could get you in the mood to do that? Like, what would have to happen?
I think we need a cartoonist or animator.
Okay, so you could do it.
Or maybe I need to be like Pusha Preem, put a mask on,
so no one really knows it's actually you behind it.
I could be like,
oh yeah.
Because you gotta, if you're gonna make a song like that, you gotta like,
you gotta perform. You gotta do it. You gotta perform it. You gotta, I understand.
I'm not gonna be on the mic talking about sausages, like, yeah.
Are you shy a little?
It's not that I'm shy. I think I'm just a little more conservative and. All right, I'll put it to you like this. So I've done some modeling, and I did a boudoir shoot. I don't know if you ever caught any of that.
What's a boudoir shoot?
So it's basically like lingerie modeling, but it's more tasteful.
Actually, no, I did see it. I liked a couple of them pictures. You know what I'm saying? I double tapped a couple of the pictures. I try to do it respectfully and tastefully. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Nothing too wild. You know what I mean? I might have put a flame emoji. Just one. No, I didn't do. I can't.
I put it out there. So
I can't
whatever response I get, that's on me.
No, it was always respectful. You know, just one or two flames.
Like. One of the scenes we did in that shoot, I was actually topless outside, and then the rest of it was in lingerie. But the thing is, like, I'm willing to do it as long as it's tasteful. You know what I mean? And
was there a lot of people around?
No.
Were you uncomfortable at all?
No, because it was a female photographer, and we have a really good relationship. And it was on a private location.
Did she like girls?
I don't know. She might.
Would that make you uncomfortable if she did like girls?
No, because the thing with homosexuality or different LGBTQ, I don't know all the acronyms. I can't keep up.
All the alphabet gang.
Alphabet gang. I just feel like a lot of people take sexual orientation and sexuality and they try to make them one thing. And it's like, just because someone likes girls doesn't mean they like me.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
I fully agree.
So that's why when people are super homophobic, it's like, yeah, that person likes guys, but that doesn't automatically mean they're going to like you. Even as a heterosexual, I don't like every man, and not every man's going to like me. It's the same thing.
That's my thought. But only because we're here, we don't got to stay here long. I'm just curious. You think people are born that way? You think people are born gay?
Oh, man. I'll put it to you like this. Some people, like, you be seeing them, they're like toddlers, and you're like, yeah, I already know. But I have a hot take. Ooh.
What is it? We here. What's the hot take? Go ahead.
All right. So as a person who's experienced sexual abuse, especially as a child, I feel like sometimes, especially with women will become homosexual after having traumatic sexual experiences with men, because they can't have healthy sexual experiences with men because it triggers the trauma that they experienced with sexual abuse. So then they revert to dating women because that's the only way that they can comfortably engage in sexual and romantic experiences, because now men are the villain. And it's not their fault. And so they probably weren't born that way, but they entered that path because the whole male experience, it was destroyed for them. So I feel it depends on the individual. It's really hard to speak for everyone in the alphabet gang.
I fully agree with you.
And then some people, it's a sport.
And some you use it as sport. I agree with you in full. Honestly, there's not much there that I disagree with, and I'll just reiterate pretty much what you said just with my own words. I do think some people are just born that way.
I agree.
And I use the analogy all the time. Not analogy, just is what it is. Like, I'll use myself for example. I never once chose to like women. It's in every fiber of my being. I don't know. I just like women that since I was a child. So if I did not choose to like a woman, in reverse, it's possible that this person did not choose to like the same sex, only because I did not choose to like the opposite. It wasn't a choice for me. It just was that.
I'll give you a better analogy.
Sure, let's hear it.
You like pizza?
Yeah, it's nice.
Why?
It tastes great. You know what I'm saying?
See how awkward that is?
Yeah,
it's the crust. It's the sauce. It's the sauce.
I'm about to sort of explain it.
It's the way it's baked. It's the crisp. It's like, who's describing why they like pizza? You just know you like it.
Exactly. You just do.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you. Some people are born that way. Yeah. Some people use it as sport. Some people like to try to turn out the opposite, or just for whatever reason. And I respect them all for it. You know what I'm saying? And as long as there's a healthy, respectful relationship, I have no problem with any gay people whatsoever. Like it at all. We could be cool. I hang with. Yeah. I got a couple homies, whatever. But just be respectful like anyone else. Just like you said, all women don't want me. They ain't no way in hell. All gay dudes don't want you, bro. Relax.
I'm gonna just say this for the record. Mm-hmm. I feel like regardless of sexual orientation, everyone should have access to the same opportunities.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nothing should be shut off.
So like on a discriminatory level, there's different types of discrimination, and I feel like when it comes to the alphabet gang, that has a strong focus, and a lot of people are like, oh, we're sick of it, Do
you feel it's being forced on us? Like on us, meaning it's just being like an agenda is being pushed.
I do feel like there's an agenda.
Okay.
And I feel like there's even old school alphabet gang people that are like, yo, this is getting out of control. Mm-hmm. But the point is that they have a platform and a voice right now, and I feel like we gotta let them have it, because not too long ago in the 80s, like people didn't have a voice, like just for them speaking on who they were as a person, or even in the 90s and still today, people are getting killed just for their sexual orientation, and it's obviously wrong. So the fact that there's a platform where they can speak comfortably about who they are, and that kids are now more empowered to speak about the way they feel, not just to their parents, but also in their schools and also to their friends without it being treated as taboo. Like let people have the experience, because it hasn't always been that way. And I know there was a time in my lifetime where kids couldn't do that. Do you know the level of anxiety kids would feel just with the idea of, still today, like, I'm gay, I don't know how to tell my dad because he'll lose his shit, or he'll be disappointed in me, or
absolutely,
or my friends will judge me, or someone might kill me, or I won't get that same opportunity. So the fact that people have a voice and a platform, and it's encouraging them to be true to themselves, I think that's a dope experience to watch, and that people shouldn't hate, because obviously there's other discriminatory factors that we're still fighting through. I was talking many years, but everything's not a fucking competition.
I fully agree.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I get it.
Like, but what I don't like is, I don't like I don't like when it's like unnecessarily being injected in certain situations, right?
Okay. Like, you mean like maybe superheroes, like not like cartoon characters, like they do have like.
No, let's say if I'm in Target, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it necessary? Like, let's say if I like potato sex, right?
Potato sex.
Let's say like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna knock down a potato, right?
Okay.
It's unique, right?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because I feel like sex is a very intimate thing that doesn't have to be broadcasted everywhere.
Okay.
Right?
I'm following.
So I'm just bringing up a crazy ass analogy,
I got you. Okay,
right?
All right, I follow.
Now
let's say it was a real thing at first.
Now let's say everyone starts coming out and they're like, yo, I fuck potatoes too. Mm-hmm. And then we get discriminated against, like, you guys are weirdos for fucking potatoes.
You just asked me to bring the potato salad last year to Thanksgiving. Now I can't bring potato salad now all of a sudden?
Yeah, right? So now we got the potato gang, right?
Yeah, you got the potato gang.
Because everyone's feeling more, because it all starts with one voice. And that's why I feel like, whenever people feel comfortable talking about their experiences, that's so powerful, because it can influence someone else to speak up and feel less alone and feel less like an outcast. Right? So my thing is, like, now there's a big potato gang, and I'm shopping at Target trying to buy some dishwashing liquid, and they're like, yo, we support everybody in the potato gang. I'm like, all right, that's great.
Yeah, right. I get it.
It's like, I just feel like there's a lot of spaces where I'm just like, all right, that's cool. And I feel like a lot of corporations are highlighting that they're supporting certain situations just for clout, and not just for, like, you can support certain movements without constantly having to, because it doesn't speak to me, and now I feel excluded.
Do you ever really feel excluded though?
Yeah.
Because they don't really speak to you?
No, but what I'm saying, when a corporation's agenda, I would say, I feel like Target's a bad example, because I feel like they do it for other groups as well. I'll use Starbucks.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Starbucks, I think, is perfect.
Or Chick-fil-A.
Nah.
No, not Chick-fil-A?
Nah, John Coffey's Christian. He would never. Nah, but the point is, like, Starbucks, if I see it plastered everywhere and it's like, now you're saying you support this group, but since it's everywhere, now it makes me feel like, okay, so am I D-string now?
I get it.
I've been buying coffee here for fucking 10 years. I'm D-string now?
They quickly jumped you to the D-string.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just in my own head. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that people are living their truth, because I feel like as you raise generations to come, if you don't know yourself, you're not true to yourself, it's really hard to lead the generations to come. So I think it's great.
That makes sense. And I agree with you. I think it's great as well. Everyone definitely deserves a voice.
I mean, as long as it's not damaging anything. Because that's when it could get dangerous.
It could get dangerous.
Yeah.
Rome, we're going to move into a section of my show I call pick a role.
Ooh.
Not necessarily pick a role like a basketball movie, you know what I'm saying? Not like you pick and roll. Like, you know, I present something to you and you like pick which person you would be. Okay. You know what I mean? So, all right. So I'm going to start with, because you still consider yourself a rapper, or you're in the hip hop of some sort, okay?
Yeah, I'm still involved.
All right, just curious. Okay, if you could be famous for one of two things, and you're also a business consultant, correct?
I do many things.
You're a woman of many hats.
Right now, I'm primarily the business consultant character. That's the role I pick in my real life.
Just the character. Okay. Is there like a main one, like a top person? Maybe you have an idol in the consultant world.
Are you talking about like clients, or are you talking about
anyone maybe you would like to mold yourself after?
Oh, whew. I have maybe like 5 people that I really look up to. So on the music side, I really like Dorian, but Dorian has recently taken a hiatus, so I'm looking at how to absorb his business. Shout out to you, Dorian. Mel Robbins, I think she's fucking fire. I love her. She's a woman. She curses a lot, and she really makes me feel like I can be myself in this industry and still be very successful. I love Gary Vaynerchuk. A lot of people find him annoying and obnoxious, but I think he's just a good human being. Okay. And a lot of times in business, you're taught that you can't be a good, honest human being and still get the bag. And I think he's showing us all how you can do that. So anyone that's just basically not cookie cutter, but very successful at what they do, and they're very ethical, like those are the ones I really like. And I would say those 3 I like a lot. Okay,
cool. Well, keep those 3 in mind. We'll start with the rapper first. Okay. Scenario 1. All right. Which person would you be? Just curious. Okay. You get to be like successful in every which way in the music industry. You know, you reached every goal. You are the hottest thing ever smoking, you know? But you can only release one album and you can never rap again. You'll never record a song. You can't write for an artist. You are completely done with music making ability at all. Like you're just done with it, you know? Or from the consultant standpoint, you could be known as, your name is amongst everyone you name. You know, they want to look at you as such. But you can only work with one person, and that person may not bring you you'll be all right. They may not keep you afloat in a financial standpoint. Like your name is up there, but you just kind of, you can only work with like one person, and you just won't financially be like
compensated.
Yes.
All right. This is the consultant in me. I love negotiating deals.
Okay. And you can only pick one though. It's literally one or the other. You can't.
Do I have to just make a choice, or can I talk through my thoughts?
No, sure. No, you can talk through your thoughts.
Oh man.
But at the end of it, you're only picking one.
All right. So on the music side, the deal would have to make a big. First of all, I want to own my own masters. Second of all, I want to know what producers and what resources I have available. I want to know what type
Keep in mind, you're the biggest thing ever too.
I'm the biggest thing ever.
But you're done though after that. Like you're done.
And I can own the masters?
Yep, you're going to be financially good for...
I can own the masters?
Sure, why not? Let's throw that in there. You can own the masters.
And my publishing?
No, just masters. Then I want to start giving you everything.
Nah, I got to have my publishing.
That's not what you get, Ron. You get the masters.
So you're telling me up front I can't have my publishing?
You're the hottest thing ever though. You're mentioned.
Yeah, that's not going to work for me, Doug.
So you're going with the...
Now, let's talk about the other side.
Okay.
The other side, I can only have one consulting client, and financially
it's like a gamble. It's a gamble. It may not be the best for you. You may not have a constant stream of income. I mean, who knows? Like, how well are you going to consult?
Now, even though the consulting situation doesn't work out, I'm trying to think of the benefit in that scenario. It's just I can basically,
your name is up there. I guess maybe the benefit is like,
okay,
you're Miss Rome. That's the pinnacle. I would love to be.
Am I allowed to still be an author, motivational public speaker, all those different things? Oh, oh Jesus. Oh man.
Come on, Rose. I
would have to
pick
go
a role.
with the consulting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could think about at least 5 different business ventures.
Nice.
I can do.
Nice. So okay, in a sense, you literally you gave up the hip hop side to where you're financially straight, you're good forever, even though you can never touch music again after that. Almost in a sense, not to be disrespectful, but almost like a Lauryn Hill-ish type of situation.
Oh man, this is so hard.
Just Lauryn Hill-ish.
Okay. Time out. I want to go back and change my decision.
Okay, well, okay.
I want to do the rap deal.
Your voice cracking. You sure?
Yeah, no, I know what I want to do. Okay. This is it.
All right.
I'm going to do the rap deal. Mm-hmm. I'm going to own my masters.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm going to find out who owns my publishing.
Oh, God. So you about to know
and how long they own my publishing for. I'll develop a strategy on how to get the publishing. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm done with that, then I'll become a business consultant.
You got it. You broke it. You broke the pick and roll. You're the first, and on top of that, you're female. Matter of fact, you're stamped now. You're the only one that broke the pick and roll.
I broke it.
You broke it. You did great. You honestly, you gave your options, and you said what you would do, and you cornered the market.
I mean,
oh no. Good job. All right, that's cool. I can respect that.
You know what? You asked me about the business consulting, how I've gotten into this. Mm-hmm. I used to do some work on the corner, not prostitution.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to flip a couple birds back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people who sell drugs are amazing entrepreneurs.
Yeah. What got you into drug selling? What is interesting?
It was just normal.
Money? Quick money?
It was just normal. I feel like Buffalo's economy, especially in the 90s, was suffering a lot. Yeah. And when you're young and you're trying to just keep up with the Joneses and stuff like that.
Let me find out you was out there helping destroy your community.
I was.
So what you was selling? What you had? Hopefully it's past. So, I'm saying? We're not here to snitch on yourself.
Well, statute of limitation has
passed.
Matter
of fact, I tell you what. I'm not sure. You can
7 years.
You can give 2. But let's jump into the next segment. Campfire confessions.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do here, which I pretty much you tell a story where maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but you just tell a story that maybe no one's ever heard before. Whatnot. You just confess to something like real quick.
All right.
Now, if you didn't have one already, I would like you to finish this.
I'll tie something into this.
Okay, that'd be great. But the original question, like, how did you get into destroying your community? Tell me about it.
I was just surrounded by people that did it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying friends. I would say,
what type of work you had?
Family. So it always starts with, running some weed up the block or something.
Yeah, so it started small. So it's
like, hey, run this bag here and there. And then when I moved to Florida, it turned into other types of things. But
you had the narcotics?
It was pretty short-lived though. But I mean,
you still a hustler?
Yeah, I started getting money very, very young.
Yeah,
like very, very young.
And it was only drugs. You never did you have workers?
I never got to that level.
Yeah,
because I've never been to jail. I've never been arrested, and I've always wanted to keep it that way. Mm-hmm. So, I did what I had to do to get the money I needed to roll into something else, and that's just something I've learned from a lot of other people in the game. Like, you get enough money to get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you had a purpose. You wasn't just out there hustling just for no reason.
Yeah. I need money right now.
Pill pushing with a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Triple P's, right?
I like that.
Yeah, you can use that.
Pill pushing with a purpose. That sounds like a book title.
You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about writing one a little bit.
You should.
You know what I mean? I probably will.
You should.
I like the fact that you was a hustler, though, and I believe you can sell water to a well.
And a Tic Tac to a snail. I don't go like that. But if I could sell a Tic Tac to a snail, that's quite impressive.
I would be very impressed to see that snail.
That snail look pregnant as hell.
That would be very
I'm
interesting.
Rhyming on
no, because you're a poet. Yeah, it's just yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, the story.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So back in Buffalo on the west side, West Side Gun has a name for a reason. West
You like West Side Gun? You like Griselda?
I fuck Griselda.
Is that only because they from Buffalo?
No, I know some people in the camp and stuff like that.
Cool. I don't want to ruin the story.
No,
I'm gonna ask you. We're gonna get back into them a little bit because now I got a little. I'm curious about that over there for you, but we'll talk.
Yeah. Let me know what questions you have. But so I was living on the Lower West Side at the time, and there used to be this little gang I used to rock with called 10th Street Gang, which is no longer in existence.
You was putting work on the block.
So we used to push out of the Boys and Girls Club of America. That's horrible, Doug. That is horrible.
But it was only weed though at the time.
Yeah, but it was just like the squad used to link up there. It was like the meetup spot, the Boys and Girls Club of America. Oh man, so we used to roll up there, post it up, chill. Get
off your little Nick bags. Y'all wasn't a big. Y'all wasn't a big.
It was Nick bags. Yeah. We was playing ping pong, watching music videos.
Y'all had to divvy up the money, or whatever you sold was yours. How'd that work out?
I would just buy from my, buy a O or something like that, and Nick bags, and then that was all me. You know what I mean?
I didn't know you had a little green thumb.
I really don't. I'm killing plants all the time. Now, mind you guys, I'm 36 now.
Yeah,
this was going on when I was like 13, 14 years old, right?
Yeah. This is old. And it may not even be true. You know what I'm saying? We're at the campfire.
It might not. We're at the campfire, right? So I'm at the Boys and Girls Club of America, and there was a rival gang there. We used to call the Hebes, short for Jibaros.
What that mean? What's that?
It's basically like when someone comes from, in this case, comes from PR, and they still don't really know English yet. Like people that think y'all be calling, I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm like Afro-Indigenous. So like we used to call them the Hebes, and they had their own set, and we had our own set, and it was like we were cool. But
what they call y'all? Y'all had a name?
It was 10th Street, right?
That what they called y'all? So they was getting a nickname given to them by y'all, which was a Hebe.
I actually don't. I think they had a name, but we had what we called them. I don't know what they called us, but they knew what it was. There was in our space.
Okay, got you.
So. I got my Sherlin on, not just on, the Sherlin's not just the Sherlin line through the whole thing.
Okay.
Real sheep on my back. You feel me? Yo. I remember when I bought that thing. I still own it too.
Yeah, you put it on there.
Yeah, I'm out in the winter with my Timbs, my Sherlin. I'm chilling, right?
You stand in the mirror, you still do your little thing, it takes you back. You know what I'm saying? Just
I was like, I was a shit.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So we got into a little squabble inside, a little verbal altercation, and I said something that, really pissed their whole set off and got them kicked out of the Boys and Girls Club of America. I was like, you know what it is.
Bro,
Scram.
Maybe you should say exactly what you said, but you ain't snitch on nobody. What you mean? How you got him out?
It did involve a little light work, because the thing is that if I didn't snitch on them, it was going to impact me because they thought that it was me and my people. So I was like, you know what? Fuck them. It was them. What you want? What do you want to do about it?
Don't tell me you here working somebody in someone's book bag and
it wasn't on that level. It was something very minor, and they were messing up something I had lined up, and I was like, you
can't have it.
I was like, that ain't gonna work for me, sir.
You can't have it.
I need to own the masters in the publishing, right? So they got kicked out, and I thought that was that. So they decided still to kick us all out anyway, even though I set up that whole place. So I'm standing out front.
Right.
The next thing you know, I'm hearing shots.
Oh, they started dumping.
But it wasn't a real gun. It was like a souped up BB gun with a scope, like a rifle scope. They were shooting from like up the block, bruh.
It sounded like something like what Alec Baldwin thought he had. But it was a real.
I never got into the details of that story, but that is dreadful.
Horrible.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because I'm a big firearm person, and every firearm should be treated like a live loaded weapon.
Of course.
Even if it's a pretend weapon, I'm a firm believer of that. So the fact that happened is insane.
You're a carrier?
Yes.
That's good. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep. CCW all day.
There you go.
Run it up if you want.
Y'all, they bet not.
You shouldn't.
I recommend that.
I will always choose mine.
It's always, you got to.
Anyway, I'll always choose my life before the runner-uppers.
Yeah, facts. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So they're shooting at us, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, man, no, right? So we started walking up the block.
Right.
But we're not running because we don't want them to think.
You know what? Yeah. You try.
We don't want them to think that we're afraid of them, and it's just a souped up BB gun situation.
But when did you guys finally discover that though? Because if you were just hearing it, if it sounded crazy,
because we were hearing it, and I think one actually hit, and we were like, we've been hearing about this gun that they've had.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no. So we started just like trying to be chill, trying to deviate from the situation, and they just kept coming after us, right? So then I'm like, yo, let me go into this corner store, see if they go away. I'm in this corner store and there's this woman holding a baby and it's late at night and I'm like,
oh, I know you didn't like.
We're kind of like trying to peek out the door, but I'm over here talking to the store owner. His name was Lil Man. We just chopping it up, trying to act regular. And I peek out the door. These motherfuckers shot the gun, the whole glass of the fucking
The bodega,
the store, the bodega. You know how they have like the stickers, like the ice cream stickers. The whole thing shattered, and this woman with her kid is like, yo, so you was in here hiding from these guys shooting at you, and I'm in here with my kid. It was a whole situation.
You turned into Nino Brown hiding behind a lady.
The cops came out.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the back of a cop car, and it was a whole situation. It like nightmare, and that was probably the closest that I've ever gotten to getting arrested over something completely stupid. Only time I've ever been in the back of a cop car. But it was a whole movie. I don't know if that story was exciting. But
no, I enjoyed the story. No. I learned something new about you. That
I just feel like people see me and they think I'm so vanilla with a little spice. But I'm like, nah, I've lived this stuff like for real. So.
I think that's more so maybe because people don't really know you. Not that I knew that story or anything, but I don't view you as vanilla at all. You seem like a live wire. You seem very intelligent. Also, you seem very like you're in the know. So it's not like you're not vanilla. I never would have deemed you as vanilla.
Yeah, I recently just started embracing my femininity more, so I've been trying to be nice and kind.
Why you feel you couldn't really be like embrace that anyway? Like,
I don't know. I feel like especially like being raised a certain way and being in certain environments.
Right.
It's hard out here being a woman, and I'm relearning that, especially as I'm doing business with men. There's a lot of disrespect happening out here, and I feel like back when I was like more in touch with my masculine energy,
they
like,
respected it more.
First of all, Playboy, let me tell you how this gonna go. It's gonna go like A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and if you try it, you know, you might not get to Z. You feel me? But now I can't do that.
How's it feel? But how do you feel being more that you're able to be more in your feminine energy and things like? Is it did that come from a man making you feel that way?
I do feel like men have inspired me to embrace my femininity a little bit more, and I think that I honestly feel like this is where I would like to keep it, but I'm also realizing the things that I'm attracting now that I'm embracing my feminine energy a bit more, and I'm trying to figure out how to best establish certain boundaries with people without turning into the very gully version of myself, because that's a very angry, bad person.
And you don't want to go back there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm just saying, like, personally, when I feel, you ever like be in a threatening situation, you legitimately feel threatened, and you're like, yo, this person's gonna make me do something I don't want to do.
Absolutely.
I feel like as a woman, you can frequently find yourself in situations that can feel threatening and unsafe very quickly. So something can be a business consult, and then the next thing you know, someone propositions you sexually, and now you don't feel safe, and that happens quite frequently. So
that sucks, though, doesn't it?
It does suck, but
do you have to anticipate that every time before you typically work with people?
I don't want to say anticipate it, but I definitely added a sexual harassment clause to my service agreement because you just never know when it's going to happen. And so I don't necessarily anticipate it, because I feel like anticipating things, especially negative things, creates an anxiety, which will then set the tone of the energy you'll have with the client. So what I try to do is I expect and hope for the best, but I always prepare myself for the worst. So I do that through my service agreement. And then as I come across those situations, I reevaluate the way I handled it. And then I always challenge myself to handle the next time better than I did the last time.
Well, you live and you learn.
Yeah. Learning experience, growing pains.
Exactly.
Can't shoot everybody.
You can't shoot it. That's right. You can't shoot everybody. Well, before I move on to the next, my next segment, which is pretty much closing out here, is there anything else like you want to get off before I jump into that?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, this next segment is called Cash Choice, and it's pretty much where I highlight an artist. Sometimes they're local. This time it will be local. I'm sure you have heard of this artist yourself.
Okay.
And I want to highlight This guy, his name is Smoke 100.
I think I've heard of
I'm
Smoke
pretty sure
100.
you have. He's been around network events that we've all attended before. And he has his latest single called Twinning Them. So check that out. I like that record. It's on all streaming platforms. Run up his streams. Run up his just check out this. Just check him out. You know, get to know who he is. He has something coming up, I believe, in May. We was talking about, but we'll get into that later. But for now, y'all definitely go check out my man record, Twin Them, and that's by Smoke 100. And y'all check him out. Rome, I really do appreciate you coming on. It has been a long time coming.
Yes.
I really appreciated you. Hopefully this won't be the last time you stop by the corner.
Oh, I'll come back anytime. Just let me know.
All right. Where can people find you?
All right. So you can find me primarily on Instagram.
Right. And we're going to put your ad somewhere around here where I'm pointing. It's going to drop somewhere close.
Yeah. Business Rome.
Mm-hmm.
I do run my own social media and I do respond to my DMs if it makes sense.
Right. If it makes sense.
No, I typically respond.
Okay. Well, cool. There you have it. Signing out. Steve Cash Moneybags, a.k.a. the Fitness Addy, a.k.a. the Vampire. I believe all the stories they tell about your boy run a vampire. And we out.